afternoon, class. Today we are going to learn to balance feed rations. It's essential that you learn the formula needed to balance a feed ration before we actually apply the application. To start, we have what we call a Pearson's square, and we will put the letter A inside of our Pearson's square. The letter A will represent the percent protein needed in the feed ration. Letter B represents the protein content of ingredient 1. Letter C is the protein content of the second feed ingredient. Now we will start learning the formulas. Okay, to start the feed ration, what we do to find letter D, D is equal to C minus A. F is equal to B minus A. Now, one of these two feed ingredients will have a negative number. When balancing feed rations, you delete the negative sign. So we will not use the negative sign when continuing on with our math formulation. G equals D plus F. Over here, H equals D divided by G. I equals F divided by G. J, to check yourself, always equals 1.0. If J does not equal 1.0, you know that you have done something wrong in your rounding. When balancing a feed ration, it's important that you go to the second decimal place, always the second, the hundredths. It's also important that when you add H and I, they equal 1.0. The letter K will equal H times letter M. L, I times M, and M will equal the amount needed in the feed ration. The pounds in the feed ration. There's our formula. Okay? Now, at this point, I'll go ahead and erase it, and we will work through a problem. Alright, so the feed ration that we are going to do, we are looking for an 18% feed. Okay? We are going to use corn as our first ingredient, and corn averages 9% protein. Our bottom ingredient, we're going to go with soybean meal, and soybean meal averages 44%. So, to find our letter here, we're going to do 44 minus 18, we're going to get 26. Again, we just did a diagonal math. 9 minus 18 equals negative 9. Like I said earlier, you drop the negative and you use the 9. And we did our X right there. So what we're going to do next is add 26 plus 9. We're going to get 35. Now we're going to take 26 divided by 35, and that equals 0.742857. Okay, now we're not going to use that number. Like I said earlier, we're going to just use the number in the hundreds, so we're going to round. So 0.74. Our bottom number is 0.257, so what we will do there is round up to 0.26. Now, when you add 0.74 and 0.26 together, you get 1.0. Again, the 1.0, we check ourselves. If we don't get the 1.0, then we know we've done something wrong. Most feed rations that are purchased by the farmer are 2,000 pounds. So we're going to use that as our basis here. So what we're going to do is we'll take 0.74 times 2,000, and we get 1,480 pounds. For the second ingredient, soybean meal, we're going to take 0.26 times 2,000 pounds, and we're going to get 520. Now, when you add those two together to double check yourself, they have to equal the 2,000 pound ration. It's very important that you understand that the top ingredient always stays on the top. So our corn is 1,480 pounds. Our soybean meal is 520. In livestock production, it is very critical that the nutrition of the animal is accurate at all times. In swine production, lysine, which can be in a feed ration, can kill a hog, right like that. The same thing can happen with sheep when you're talking about copper. All those can be ingredients in feed rations, which can be deadly if the feed ration is not figured correctly. Thank you.